Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mana Cave. My name is Ed.
My name's Travis.
And today we are doing something I actually meant to start a while ago. The new 2019 Brawl decks, the pre-constructed Brawl decks that Wizards of the Coast came out with. I had pre-ordered them, so I've actually had them for quite a while leading up to recording this. There's been some other videos we were recording. There's been some delays in recording and stuff and getting some videos out there. Sort of craziness behind the scenes stuff. But finally getting to sit down and play a bit of Brawl. Now, Travis, did you get to take advantage of the Magic Arena event where these were released ahead of time? I was able to play these ahead of time because of the Magic Arena event that they sort of released these decks and gave you sort of a taste of the decks.
I think I've been on Arena once or twice since Eldraine came out. I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
I'm hit and miss with Arena. Again, very nice. Mostly not for me, but no, I've actually played with very little other than the Planeswalker decks. I played with very little Eldraine at all, really. You've
played a lot of Commander. That's pretty much what, when we're off camera and playing Magic, that's pretty much what we play. I don't think we would play almost anything really other than that at this point off camera.
Not
Occasionally we'll bring out a different type of deck, but usually it's Commander.
Yeah.
So Brawl being very, very similar to Commander with the sense that you have a Commander, you have a elevated life total. Our life totals are starting at 30 instead of
Singleton.
20. Yeah. Singleton. But there are 60 card decks and standard legal.
Much easier to shuffle.
That's the difference. Much easier to shuffle. Now, I as I mentioned before, I did get a chance to play these particular decks on Magic Arena when they sort of gave them sort of an early release on Magic Arena. And now I think it's like you can play Brawl once a week or something in Magic
Wednesdays or
Arena,
something like that.
which is a decision I don't quite get.
I've seen a lot of that on Twitter, yeah. It doesn't seem like a very popular decision amongst people on Twitter.
See, and if you've watched the show for any length of time, you know that we don't slag off Wizards of the Coast or Magic or anything for the most part. Usually, like, if we have an issue with a particular type of deck, it's a Planeswalker deck or something.
Yeah.
You know, just
decks that we all know are meant to be a little bit more beginner.
So we give them a lot of sort of rope to hang themselves. I guess it's a bad term, but whatever. But with the Brawl decks, I was not interested in Brawl at all. I had no interest in Brawl whatsoever.
Yeah.
And Wizards had for a while been really trying to push this as a format. So then they announced the release of these 4 decks in paper. And I'm still pretty much, if I'm going to buy decks for the channel to play on the channel, I have to sort of budget it into the monthly allotment I give myself when it comes to that. That's why Planeswalker decks are great. They're relatively inexpensive. We get a couple games out of them. We get like entire tournaments out of them. So with the Brawl decks, I still wasn't sure, even though at the time, at the pre-release price was pretty low. Or pre-order price, I should say, was pretty low. And then they, as I mentioned, released them on Magic Arena, so you could play even before they were released in paper.
I remember that, yeah.
And that completely changed my mind about Brawl. I really enjoyed that event. I really enjoyed playing these particular decks. And I think it was actually the next day after that event that I ended up putting in my pre-order. Just at the right time before the prices went skyrocketing.
The power of Arena, apparently.
Yeah.
You know?
And then they sold out during pre-orders for almost everywhere, to the point where I believe Wizards had to announce that they were going to do a reprinting of them. And the prices, like I said, had gone up. There's some cards in here which people really want for the Commander decks. So the Signet is one of them that people really want for their Commander decks.
$20 common.
Yeah, and even the Commanders in these had sort of gone up in price for singles.
I imagine Tulane is probably worth a dime, because
he
seems like one of the most powerful Brawl commanders, but definitely even overall Commander in general.
Yeah, a lot of these could transfer over to a regular Commander deck, non-Brawl commanders. So I was originally going to do videos on each of the decks. I'd sort of did a slight overview on 2 of them. On the Faerie Schemes deck and the Knight's Charge deck were 2 of the ones that I did for Magic Arena. I released some gameplay of that. And I was going to do that for paper. And then when I actually opened them up, there were certain things that really annoyed me, and I wasn't in the right mindset to do these. Now, the first thing was, these did not come with the Magic Arena codes like the Planeswalker decks do. So if you bought these, you're not going to be able to immediately sort of unlock them in your Magic Arena. And that was a decision that I think is absolutely horrible. I think it was a really bad decision on Wizards' part.
I'm not sure where they're making that decision. It seems like they're literally flipping a coin when they release a constructed deck. Like, I know the Guild Kit decks, you couldn't do it because a lot of the cards obviously weren't on Arena.
Yeah.
But then the Challenger decks.
Yeah.
This is flip the coin, heads. Tails for these, heads for those. I'm sure there's more thing than that.
If it was even that, I'd be fine with it, because then, that means there's a chance that one of these other types of decks will get the Magic Arena treatment, but it's only been Planeswalker decks.
Did you at least get a code for some packs to crack on?
No.
No, not even
Nothing like that.
Did it mention Arena at all?
No. Well, I think it might have had like an insert mentioning something about being able to play this on Magic Arena, like every fourth Wednesday when the moon shines red over.
All you do is rebuy the deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Play it on Arena.
So that really bothered me. And then the other thing is that there was a life counter. They on the box it states that there was a life counter inside, and then they produced these, which are the worst design life counters I think they could have possibly come up with. There's one side of them. They're double-sided, just so you know. And at first glance, I was like, oh, okay, so you can use either side. Maybe it's for left-handed or right-handed people. I don't know, right? No, one side starts at 1, goes up to 20. Then you have to turn it to the other side to 21 to 40. Now, that doesn't seem like much, but it's such a ridiculous design, especially if you're playing a deck where your life total will go up and down, up and down.
If you're at that magic time, you're just going back and forth.
When you have a solution like this, which they came out, people always have asked not always, but a lot of people have asked in the comment section where we got these particular life counters that we use on the Mana Cave most of the time, unless one of us forgets to bring them. Not that I'm shaming anyone. But these were from the Commander Anthology. And I bought these separately because a lot of stores were buying the Commander Anthology, breaking them open, taking the cards from them, and then selling these separately. So something like this is great. Even something like a spin down die is okay as well too. Even if they gave you 2 dice that you could use, anything. I've seen ones where it's like this, only there's 2 wheels, like one on each side, so you can have like a total. Yeah,
2-digit number essentially.
So that makes more sense. But this seems so slapped together. Just, we want to be able to say that we're giving people a life counter, so we're going to give them this, and for whatever reason we're going to make it thin, but so we can maybe put it in here, but at the same time it's got this plastic thing which will dent your cards if you want, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the whole idea of this. So by the time I was done opening up a few of them and looking through them, and I listened back to some of my audio, I could feel this negativity creeping into my voice and my overall sort of feel, and to the point where I think I did like 10 minutes of ranting on something.
See, now everyone's going to see it just for that.
Well, no, because I never released them. I know,
but they want that clip, I'm sure. I want to see that clip.
And it's not that like, obviously I have no issue with mentioning when I'm not crazy about something with their product, because I've done that with the Planeswalker decks before. But I didn't want to do what would feel like an entire rant video. If I was going to do that, I would just do a video saying, this is the problem I think with the new Brawl decks. And maybe one day maybe if they release 2020 Brawl decks and it's the exact same type of thing, that video might actually come out. But just so you know, what bothered me most about it, and I know this is going on for a while, but there's been a card that's probably shown twice now telling you when the game's actually going to start. But one of the things that bothered me the most about it is that they brought me from being someone who didn't care about Brawl to caring about Brawl because of Magic Arena. And then they didn't include an arena code. So they actually got me to buy these in paper and actually care about Brawl. And instead of striking while the iron was hot, they're like, okay, yeah, but we're not going to give you a code for arena. We're only going to allow you to play it like, once a week in arena, if that type of thing. And I don't get that at all. And then as well too, they did the exact same thing they do with a lot of these sort of non-standard sets, or even some of the standard sets now. They pretty much steamrolled it with other products coming along. You heard about the Brawl decks. They were super hyped. People were super excited about them. They were selling out. Like, all the stores were sold out. And then nothing.
Commander.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this, because if you're like me, you were kind of hoping to see more Brawl content out there, and it just wasn't happening because the Magic train moves so quickly now that if you don't jump on it right away and get something out, it's almost like it's an obsolete video. So
I don't mean to make this longer than the intro.
Go for it.
I have a question. You might not be able to answer. Maybe you at home can. If you want to build this deck by cracking packs, you can't do that either, because you're not gonna find an arcane signet in a pack.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you'll find the commanders per se.
The collector packs, the collector editions, which I actually had. See, this is the thing as well too. Wizards was kind enough to send me some collectors packs, and that was great because I got to experience something I never got to experience before. So I'm not trying to slag off Wizards, but yeah, you can't get these outside of those packs or these decks.
So you have to buy the Brawl deck through Arena, which you can buy decks though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so other than the collector's packs, which are here in Canada are selling for $30 per pack, yeah, you're not going to be able to get this unless you buy these particular decks, which is why the Arcane Signet it's a common, but it's sold, I think, as a single for, I think it was like over 20 Canadian as well,
At
too.
one point, it was definitely over 20.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's still there, but it was definitely over.
Like, I was surprised when I saw even what the sell prices were for some of these cards at some of the card shops that I'll, like, sell some of my older cards at. And right out of the box, the Signets were selling for, like, you could sell them right back to the store for, because they have no other way of getting them unless you happen to open them up in a collector's pack. So I really love these Brawl decks. I do. The execution of how they produce them was lacking, in my opinion. So that's the sort of like the big rant of the day. One last thing before we actually kick off the game, and I'm going to mention it now, even though probably people are skipping it. But I did want to mention the Token of the Month Club now before the end of the video. And one of the reasons why is that you're going to see some of these particular tokens, most likely with this deck, because last month was 1/1 flying fairy tokens. And that's what my commander is going to produce. And we're going to talk about our commanders in just a moment. But Token of the Month Club, every month we produce a token that's exclusive to Brain Pulp TV. And then you have the option of signing up and getting between 1 to 10 of those tokens sent directly to your door in the mail. If this is being released in November, which I hope it still is, then the current month's token, which is going to be released in December, is going to be food tokens. And they're going to have a holiday theme to them, a sort of a food holiday theme. So you can almost sort of guess where I might be going with those particular food tokens. Now, normally my friend and fellow artist, Lara Souza, does the artwork for the tokens, the line art, and I do the colors for it. For the food token, I'm actually doing the artwork entirely myself. Lara's got a convention that he's going to be going to, a caricature convention. And I didn't want to bother him when he was trying desperately to buffer his work so that he'd be able to be work-free during that convention. So I'm going to be doing the artwork for that one on my own. But after that, Lara's going to be back at it. So anyways, now that I've gone through all that, Travis, are you ready to begin the brawl?
I'm ready to brawl.
Okay.
Sounds so dramatic.
So what we're going to do before we actually start the game or roll to see who goes first is we're going to read off our commanders so you have an idea of who the commanders are. Now, my deck is the Faerie Schemes deck. It's white, blue, black, and my commander is Alila, Artful Provocateur, a 2/3 fairy warlock. It's a legendary creature, like of course, is his commander. Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0, and whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. And the cost to get this out in the battlefield is 1, a white, a blue, and a black. Travis?
I am playing Corvald, Fey Cursed King. It's a dragon noble legendary creature, 4/4 flyer, and whenever Corvald enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. Now, it's not a May ability, you have to sacrifice another permanent, which could be a land. Savage. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1 counter on Corvald and draw a card. He's a Jund, so it's black, green, and red, and his cost is Jund +2 of anything. So 5 mana cost for a 4/4 flyer. But even when he enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice a permanent. So it becomes almost like a 5/5 almost instantly.
Yeah. Okay, so now we are going to roll to see who goes first. As we're doing that, our opening hands are being shown on screen. Travis, you had it. Wow, I really checked that. It's 10. I got 10.
Taking my zone here. I only got 8.
You had a mulligan, so you're starting off with 6 cards.
Yep.
I did not, so I get to start off with a full complement of 7 cards, and I get to go first, which is great for me. So, to kick things off, now that I've slowly talked long enough that our opening hands can actually be displayed for a decent amount of time, I'm going to play a Temple of Silence. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, I get to scry 1, and I can tap this to add white or black. So I get to scry.
Gets a temple right off the bat.
Oh, that's tempting. That's tempting, but I got to put that on the bottom. Okay, and there you go, sir.
There I go.
Yes.
So I got to draw.
Yes.
Bloomin'. All right, I'm going to play just a Gruul Guildgate, entering tapped. Tap for green or red. That's that. No scrying for me, sir.
For some strange reason, when you were doing that, I was looking down. Like, we used to show our hands on camera, and we would look down at the other person who was showing hands, and for some reason I was bowing down to you, so that I don't know what I was. So in case you guys are wondering what was so interesting on the table, it was just that I had a misfire of the brain. As well, too, one thing I didn't mention before is that because these are Brawl decks, we're starting off with higher life totals, this is not going to be a best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
So we are going to be doing a full Brawl 2019 Brawl Showdown. So these decks are going to face off against each other. The other 2 decks are going to face off in another game. And then the winners of this one and that match are going to face off against each other for a championship round. But they're only going to be best of ones. So, okay, so my turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All the little things you forget to mention when you're playing. I'm going to... Should I or shouldn't I? I'm going to... Now I'm going to do this. I'm just going to play a Tranquil Cove. Enters the battlefield tapped, and when enters the battlefield, gain 1 life. I can tap it for white or blue, so I'm up to 31. That was a scry one, right?
No. This is just a crappy old gate that you get no life.
Oh, no
scry.
life, no nothing? Okay, well, there you go. Okay,
Just
because I was like, oh, you should adjust your life total, but you don't get to do that. I will pass the turn to you.
They give you the gate. A draw. I'm going to, this time though, play Bloodfeld Caves, which enters tapped, and I do gain life.
Nice.
So, pop.
Nice.
Popping up to 1 here.
We're off to a brisk start in this game, so...
I'll tap my
Ooh.
Gruul Guild Gate
Really?
for any color for a Witch's Oven.
Oh, okay.
It's a 1 mana costing artifact. I am completely unfamiliar with this card, so let's go ahead and read it together here. I can tap it, sacrifice a creature, create a food token. If the sacrificed creature's toughness was 4 or greater, create 2 food tokens. That seems terrible to me. But I don't really know...
No, it can be useful.
Crazy food stuff. I guess, yeah, I don't know.
There's cards in there that have synergy with sacrificing, and I think there might be
Commander.
some cards that have sacrifice with food in there. It's been a while since I played that particular deck, but that does actually have a purpose in that particular deck. It may not seem like it now, but it does.
Okay.
So, take my word.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I get what you're doing. I just don't get why you're doing it.
So my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to play a Dimir Guildgate. Enters battlefield tapped. I can tap it for blue or black. Then I'm going to tap 2 and bring out the Arcane Signet, which we talked about, but we didn't discuss exactly what it was. For 2, you get an artifact. You can tap it for 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. It's a little bit of ramp in any color that your commander happens to have in its identity. And that is my turn, sir, and I'm going to now pass it to you.
I would have kept any opening hand that had that in it just to be able to play it. All right, untap, draw. We'll go ahead and just play a plain old swamp.
Excellent.
I'll tap past you.
Pass to me? Okay.
I'm going to read the card I got, which costs a lot of mana. But it's really sweet art.
Alrighty. I'm going to play a swamp. So now I have choices here that I can bring on my commander. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to tap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. No, I'm going to tap for
4.
I'm going to untap all that because I miscounted what I was doing. What I'm going to do instead is... Do I want to do that?
You're going to wait for the value, aren't you? Because you want your...
I think I'm going to wait for the value because I know there's removal in all of these decks, and spot removal is really good in Brawl. So I'm going to tap instead. I'm going to tap for 1 white, and then 3 of whatever, and I'm going to cast Smothering Tide.
Oh, for the love of Peter.
It's an enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If the player doesn't, I create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color.
Yeah, that card's value too. So
yeah,
don't feel bad.
Yeah. There is some great value in this deck. Like aside from being fun decks to begin with, there is some dollar value to these decks. I am going to do a quick edit here as I go and grab some treasure tokens because I forgot that this particular deck needs them. Okay, Travis, so that is my turn, and I'm going to pass now to you.
Okay, nothing to untap. Drawing a card.
Would you like to pay 2, sir?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to pay 2.
Oh, so I don't get a treasure?
You don't get a treasure.
Okay.
Play a Golgari Guildgate.
There you go.
Pass to you.
What's the Golgari Guildgate again?
It's a gate, so I could get no life or anything, but it taps for green or black, enters tapped.
Okay.
No scry, no life, no nothing.
There we go. Okay, so untap. I'm going to play an island. And now I'm going to tap a blue, a black, and a white, and 1 of whatever, to bring out my commander. So she now hits the battlefield. I'm then going to tap for 2, including 1 white, and I'm going to cast All That Glitters. So it's an or enchantment for 1/1 white. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Now, whenever I cast an artifact or enchantment spell, I get to create a 1/1 flying fairy. And I'm going to put this actually on her, though. So because I have this enchantment and this enchantment, she is currently...
And the thing, isn't it?
Oh, and the signet as well. Thank you very much.
Is it artifacts, too?
It is artifacts as well, too, yeah. So she is now a 5/6 flying Death Touch Lifelinker. And I got the little 1/1 fairy here as backup.
Flying Death Touch Lifelinker.
I'm going to pass the turn now to you.
Untap. Draw my card. Okay, so am I paying 2 mana is on the stack?
Yes.
So is this when an artifact enters the battlefield or when you cast an artifact?
When I cast an artifact.
Okay,
yeah.
so you won't get a fairy off
No,
that.
I won't get a fairy off of it.
I guess I have to do something at some point here. So you can have the treasure. I'm
Excellent.
not paying 2 mana.
So in the treasure, the Token of the Month Club treasure token.
Does up her lifelinking ability, so I'm going to play a swamp.
Okay.
And get ready for a play here.
Here we go.
Tapping for 5 mana.
Ooh, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 green, 1 black, 3 of anything. For Moldervine Reclamation. It's a 5 mana cost enchantment that just says, whenever creature I control dies, I gain life and draw a card. Which is not terrible, but it's not like, boom!
Yeah, it is good. But it's expensive for what it does, so.
Yeah.
But I can see it in that deck, I can see that really popping off, so.
That's my turn, sir.
That's your turn? Okay, so untap.
That's my turn.
Okay, I'm going to play a Dismal Backwater, which enters the battlefield tapped. I gain 1 life, and I can tap it for blue or black, so I'm now up to 32. I'm going to then spend 2 to cast Golden Egg. When Golden Egg enters the battlefield, draw a card, pay 1, tap it, sacrifice Golden Egg, add 1 mana of any color, or I can pay 2, sacrifice it, and gain 3 life. So I'm going to first create a fairy token because I'm casting an artifact spell.
Another fairy.
I'm going to draw a card. And then I'm going to move to combat.
Okie dokie.
So I've gained I got 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts and enchantments in total. Artifacts and or enchantments.
5.
Oh yeah, 1, 2, I forgot it counts in itself. All the glitters counts for itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Just brutal.
So it's now a 7/8 flying Death Touch Lifelinker. I'm gonna swing in with that and my 1/1 fairy.
Alright, so I'm taking a total of 8 damage,
yes.
and you're gaining a total of 7.
I'm gaining 7, so I'm up to 39.
Oh, down to 23.
Oh, another thing as well, too. These only go up to 40, right?
Yeah.
These spin ones only go up to 40? Yeah. So this would be...
potentially very useless.
Yeah, exactly. So not to keep ragging on those, but that's an awful design. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay a blue, a white, and 1 of whatever, and I'm going to cast Shine Chaser. It's a 1/1 fairy creature with flying and vigilance. However, it also gets +1/+1 as long as I control an artifact, which I do, and +1/+1 as long as I control an enchantment, which I also do. So it is a 3/3 flying vigilant creature. That is my entire turn. Now, I only have 2 cards left in hand.
I desperately needed you not to cast another creature spell. Desperately. Untap, draw. Because my only choice here, play that, and tap for 6. So 2 black, and 4 of anything. I mean, this doesn't save me at all. Like, it was gonna save me.
Okay.
It's a sorcery called Taste of Death. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures.
Oh, okay.
And I knew I was taking a chance, but I had to get to 6 mana, and I had nothing else going on, and why play a creature when I have to sacrifice it?
Yeah.
But still, you still have like a 8 mana flyer with lifelink who does not die by this thing. I do also, I create 3 food tokens.
Okay. So Shine Chaser is going to the graveyard, as are my 2 fairy tokens.
Just
so
desperately needed one. I knew you were tapping the second main phase. I'm like, just make an enchantment. Something that's like costs a lot of mana and does very little of it now, but next turn will do awesome for you. That's all I needed. Do we have food tokens?
We do not. Food tokens are coming in December. Those will be shipped out in December, but we don't have food tokens. So
they didn't give you tokens?
No, they didn't. So what I'll do is you can use the back of the Brain Pulp tokens for those ones. So
all right. So I have, and the food do say pay 2, sacrifice to gain 3 life.
Yes,
I'm gonna need that.
Yeah, that's the good thing about that. That's one of the good things about them as well too.
That doesn't trigger out that though. That's
no
creatures.
sadly. Now, is it your creatures or all creatures?
Whenever a creature I control.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So. All right.
Now you do also have your commander, remember, as well too.
No, so, I know, but I didn't want to play him before.
No,
I would have to sacrifice.
No, yeah, then you would have had to sacrifice as well too. No,
yeah. So it was sense. Like, again, I was really counting on hopefully you, which wasn't a good chance because you had cards in hand. You drew one off of the
golden egg,
and you had the mana, especially with the thing to do it. So it was a gamble, but I mean, not to.
You also removed other threats on the board. I mean, a 3/3 vigilant flyer is still pretty decent, especially in this deck where you have I have other enchantments which I could, pump something up as well too, right? So yeah, I mean, you still did
4/3 vigilant flyer because he gets +1 because you're commander, +1/+0.
Oh, that's right too. 4/3. That's right. I forgot about that.
Actually, I should have taken one more damage.
You should take one more damage. So, for those of you in the comments section who have already said that we missed one damage, Travis here, Eagle Eye, we call him. Eagle Eye Travis caught the mistake, and we've now fixed it. So the life total is being fixed as well too. I'll be honest with you, though, people have been really nice in the way that they point out our foibles, if you will. So it's my turn.
Yeah, that was a tap out for my what was going to be an awesome play if you had one less creature.
I'm going to play a swamp. I will move to combat.
Okay. Jeez.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's still a 7, 8. So I'm going to swing in for 7.
I'm untapped now, or tapped out. So I dropped down to 15.
I'm up to 46, which I could not mark on this. So not to keep harping on that. Okay. But
really hoping I could have pulled that guy out.
Okay, I'm going to tap for 2 blue, and then 1, 2, 3, 4? 4, yeah. And I'm going to cast Shimmering Dragon. It is a 5/6 dragon with flying. As long as I control 4 or more artifacts, Shimmering Dragon has hexproof. Now I've got 1, 2, 3 artifacts. I do not have 4 artifacts. However, I can tap 2 untapped artifacts I control to draw a card.
Which you can do at instant speed pretty much right now.
Yes.
Do treasures tap and sacrifice?
Yes, they do.
To draw.
Now, the tokens at the time...
I know.
I created the tokens because tap is something which is copyrighted or whatever by, or trademarked, I can't remember what term they use, by Wizards of the Coast. So the treasure token doesn't actually have tap, but in future ones, like food tokens, for example, I will have text, turn this card sideways, and then sacrifice it to sort of get around that. But I didn't do that with the treasure tokens. But if I ever re-release the treasure tokens or reprint them, they will have that amendment to them. So, Travis, I'm going to pass the turn now to you.
Get ready to make a food token, because no matter what I draw, I pretty much need the mana.
Treasure token? Or
treasure token. No, what do you create?
Create a treasure token,
food,
yeah.
Treasure.
Yeah.
Right. Untap, draw. I'm pretty much going to go ahead and draw.
Okay.
Or get your thing.
Okay. So now I have 4 artifacts, so now he does have hexproof.
And now I have to basically play my commander as essentially a chump, I think. It's sad, but...
Is your commander is flying, right?
He does have flying, yeah. So we can chump a lifelinker, which is almost not worth the effort, but...
Well, I mean, there are other things you could do as well, too. Like, how does it cost anything to sacrifice a creature?
This thing?
Yeah.
I don't have a creature right now.
Oh, no, but if you were to chump block with him, you could tap that, sacrifice him before damage goes through. It prevents the damage completely, right? So then I won't even gain life off of it, right?
True.
Yeah.
So but it's still my commander, because it's the only flyer I got. And that guy's a flyer too.
Yeah.
That hexproof guy is a flyer, which again, sacrifice would have been sweet. But I had no way of like chumping out or getting rid of the little flyers to make you sacrifice the bigger guys either. I just don't have that. So to survive, I need to sacrifice a permanent. Yeah, I can sacrifice my things, at least draw a card and give you another treasure.
Yeah.
So let's get my mana here right. Green or red, I guess. Green, 1 black, and then it's just 2.
Just 2.
So I don't have enough to sacrifice a food token, unfortunately. I will play Corvald, who I feel like I'm just not doing this guy justice today. When he enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. So I will attempt to pop that, but these things, this food is predisposable, so he's going to chow down that food.
Yeah.
He's going to get +1 counter, so he will enter as a 5/5, which still doesn't trade. And I draw a card, though. Now, if I got a 1...
It's 5 tokens or 5?
5...
Oh yeah. So one +1 counter,
yes. Yeah. I draw that card, so you can...
Oh,
I can't
you're not gonna... Okay, so I create another treasure token.
I'm now squinting to read cards, and I'm turning it sideways for no reason in particular.
It's not a split card, is it? No.
No. All right. Yeah, I have 1 swamp that I'm going to keep untapped for you, sir.
Okay.
Kind sir, good sir. Jeez, that doesn't even do it. Past you.
Okay, what I'm going to do on your end step is I'm going to tap 2 untapped artifacts I control and draw a card. I'm then going to tap 2 more untapped artifacts I control to draw another card. And there we go. So the untap. Then I do my regular draw. Okay, I'm going to do this.
That was a very positive. Okay.
I'm going to tap for one blue and 1 of whatever. I'm going to cast Frogify. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog creature with base power toughness 1/1. So that becomes a 2/2 now because it does have a counter on it. I cast an enchantment. So
okay, well, hang on, that is on the stack.
Well, that is on the stack. Okay, so that's not hit your creature yet. That is on the stack.
Now, I'm not going to be able to use them to chump either of those, so I could just, to annoy Ed by not having target, tap, sacrifice.
No, that makes perfect sense, yeah.
So I will create a food token.
No, you'll create...
No, it's 2 creatures to create 2 food token. Sacrifice a creature, create a food token. If sacrifice creature... Oh, it's 4 or greater, I see what you're saying. Then create 2.
Then create 2, yeah.
We need another back of a token.
Oh, that's right, too. So there you go.
And then there's another trigger to worry about, which is not going to help me out much either. So he goes back to the command zone where it will cost... I tend to put a 2 because it's 2 more mana. Also, right now would be the second time he comes out.
Yeah.
2 more mana. I do gain a life. Paching! Up to 16, so I think I'll live. And I do draw a card.
Okay, so this hits the bin, so it's not going to count towards this. But I did cast it. So I do still get to create a 1/1 fairy token. Then I'm going to... so I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is now a 9, 10.
6.
9 plus 5. Oh, that's right, because it gets... I keep forgetting that part of other creatures you control with flying get
But
plus
9
1
plus
plus
6
0.
is still 15. I gain that 1 life, ladies and gentlemen.
But...
Oh, no.
I'm going to tap for...
Don't pump your dragon.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Oh, no, because it won't work out that well. Oh, no, it does. Okay, so I'm going to sacrifice a treasure. Now, that's going to lower it down to 8. I'll spend it for 1 blue.
To think I was sweating.
Sacrifice an artifact to add 1 mana of any color to my mana pool, so blue. And then I'm going to tap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to cast Workshop Elders. Artifact creatures you control have flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, I may have target non-creature artifact you control become a 0/0 artifact creature. If you do, put 4 +1/+1 counters on it. So, beginning of combat, I'm going to turn my egg into a 0/0. It's going to get 4 +1/+1 counters on it, making it a 4/4. This is going to actually make it a 5/4 because of the added bonus. And then I'm going to swing in for 5, 10, and 18.
You know, I really like this deck, actually.
See, and this is the thing. I actually, the first time I saw that deck, I was like, I don't think that deck works at all. I started playing that near the end of the Brawl event on Arena. I really started to enjoy that deck. So that's
lethal. I got no
that's
blocks.
lethal. So,
wow.
Now, you had a relatively slow start, which is unfortunate, especially when it comes to a deck that has the commander where the cost is actually 5 to get it out there, sort of thing. But what do you...
Well, I mulliganed.
Yes.
But really it was the third, because we both had, like...
Yeah, so the way that we do modified, in order to get the best game possible, we do modified mulligan rules. So basically what our modified mulligan rules are is that we go by it's just called the mulligan rule, but it's the London mulligan rule. But if both of us decide that we're going to mulligan, we give each other a free mulligan.
Clean slate.
And once again, that's just to try to maximize the chance that we're going to have a decent opening hand.
But it's always even.
So it's always even, yeah. But the second one of us isn't going to mulligan and the other person still needs to mulligan, then basically it just becomes like a regular mulligan. So we did actually mulligan once.
I saw 3 hands.
Yes, that's right too. So I saw...
Your second hand you kept.
Second hand I kept, yeah.
So my first hand I saw 1 land.
Yeah.
Second hand I saw 1 land. Third hand was 7 lands and a Vindictive Vampire.
No!
But I'm like, what am I going down to 5 cards?
All gas, right?
I got all gas, right? Nothing but gas.
And a commander as well too, right? So
yeah. So I drew I think my first 4 cards, 2 of them were land, 2 of them were these cards. Not hugely impactful.
No.
And then eventually I did get another creature eventually, which was that. But I mean, I could have played that on turn 4. That's a nice one because I would have got something after I made sacrifice. But my only real chance, given how the cards went, were hope you couldn't get a 4th card down, get to turn 6 without... Because I could have populated the board with some creatures.
Yeah.
I mean...
I had a pretty sick start to this game. With this deck, and this is probably the deck I played the most when the arena event was going on.
Even that comboing with that. You're getting the treasures, which are making a lifelinker...
And there is spot removal as well too. Like even the spell you cast, like you said, if I hadn't been able to get that one last creature out, which I drew off of the extra card draw that I got from the egg sort of thing. So if I hadn't got that extra card draw, hadn't got that in the hand, I would have had anything extra to cast, and you would have wiped out my entire board. So it could have gone completely different.
And when the first 2 hands were only had 1 land each, there was that witch who got 3 rats with her, the Shimmering Witch, I think. Lots of good cards. A Death Spout card where you destroy target creature and you get to put a land to play. All these really powerful cards. No, I'm not keeping 1 land hand. I'm crazy. But then I keep 5 land and 1 card, but I still have my commander. But once I think I drew Taste of Death, I think on my 3rd draw. So maybe it was out of the first 5 cards, 2 of them were land.
Okay.
So when I saw that, I'm like, this is what I gotta do. I gotta just not commit anything. I committed the enchantment, I think, and the one thing. Not commit any creatures so I don't lose anything. And then and I knew I couldn't play too long, because then, maybe get Corvold out, and then any creatures I do have to sacrifice beyond him, which I would need 4 creatures then, I would get to draw cards. But the longer I let her go, the more you'd get, and the less likelihood I'd be able to... And before you know it, by 1 extra creature, I ran out of the chance to... I mean, still have that thing coming right on the corner too. So even if I did manage to get your commander,
and see, I don't fault you for mulliganing the one land hands at all, because in certain decks like mono red aggro, there's a possibility of keeping that.
Even I don't know that I would keep a 1 land hand with mono red aggro.
But if you've already mulliganed once, it's somewhat more tempting, right? But in this format, I think having a decent number of lands in your opening hand isn't bad. It's just that thing where you're thinking, I should get nothing but gas. But yeah, you eventually got creatures, but I mean, you got a costly enchantment and an artifact which doesn't impact the game right away.
Yeah, it can combo off. Yeah, but it didn't.
It could have gone either way. Honestly, this one could have very easily been a board wipe.
It was my hopes. It was my hopes that was going to buy me till that much further in the game to be able to establish myself in the game. It didn't work out that way.
One other thing I just want to mention quickly, in case some folks are confused about the rule when it came to the golden egg becoming a creature. Now, because the golden egg was already on the battlefield for a full turn, if it becomes a creature at that point, it doesn't have summoning sickness. So if anyone was wondering why I was able to attack with it right away and it doesn't have summoning sickness, that's the reason why, specifically because of that rule. So this is the first round of the 2019 Brawl Deck Showdown. So Faerie Schemes is going to advance. We are then going to be, after we finish recording this, we're going to be recording, you're going to be playing Knight's Charge, and I'm going to be playing additional notes, Wild Bounty. So, and Knight's Charge, I think, has a really good chance of going all the way. That was one of the more powerful decks. That was a deck
more justice than I did this deck.
I wouldn't even have to cast my commander with that deck, and that deck still ran perfectly well.
Because that's the most expensive commander, isn't it? 6, or they're all 5 or 4?
I think so, yeah. But that deck is such a great Knight tribal deck all on its own. When your commander hits the battlefield, it's awesome. But I've won a bunch of games with that deck without ever having to get my commander out. So I think your odds in the second game are slightly going to be in your favor. So
I made one misplay. I think I drew him the second last turn. I could have had him on there, use that to sacrifice him, and create a chump at instant speed.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that.
Because it has Afterlife, right?
Afterlife,
so that creates a 1/1 spirit, yeah.
So I was looking at both creatures I had before that, and neither have flying. or reach. So no, actually that might have bought me half a round.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I still would have gained some life and everything. That would have been nice, but yeah. But as well too, you also had a lot of food tokens. You might have been able to regain some life, maybe stabilize. I think there's an actual board wipe in there, like a full board wipe in there, but I'm not entirely sure.
So close.
Well, I know in this one we got Kaya's Wrath.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to cast that anytime soon. So
wow, you gain life off all the creatures destroyed, don't you?
Yeah, destroy all creatures. I gain life equal to the number of creatures I control that were destroyed this
You're
way.
down to a dangerous 46 then.
I know.
Actually,
well,
you would have got
technically,
more.
Yeah, it was like 55 or something. Yeah. So yeah, there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed the first ever.
Sorry I didn't do this deck justice, but it gets another shot. This deck will...
I've been where you are. There's been times where I've played and I've just felt like, oh man, like this is such a good deck and I just did not get the draws that I needed.
But look at the quote-unquote gas I drew. Taste of Death, yes. The Guild Gate I drew. A Forest I drew. Like...
Yeah.
You know, and then later... I mean, I did Rhythm of Wild, which is the finality, but they're not going to help me at that point.
No, you need already creatures on the battlefield or in your graveyard to really have those cards do anything.
And your creatures were over 4 toughness, so even the -4, -4 wouldn't have done anything. And that one I drew off of sacrificing something.
It was just tough draws, like, you know what I mean? Like, it could have gone either. But what we might do as well, too, because there's only 4 decks in this particular set of decks, we could do a loser's bracket. So maybe we'll bring that back and have it face the loser of the next match, so which will probably be my deck. So
the 4 other decks where even the loser got a chance to shine again.
Yeah, exactly. They get to rise again and show what they can do. So thank you guys very much for watching, and Travis, thank you of course for coming out and brawling with me today. And yeah,
don't call what I did brawl.
the next
first
episode,
ever brawl game, and I do that.
It's okay.
I know.
The people forgive you.
I played my commander.
The people are in your corner. Everyone loves an underdog, so that means the next match they're going to be rooting for you. So, not that they were probably rooting for me this time, but still. So thank you guys very much for watching, and we will see you all in the next episode.